Hello everyone, welcome to another Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm back after a couple weeks or months of not being on Tech Talk Tuesday, and we're here today with the chairman of the Youth Economy Agency, and I will be inviting him to tell us a little bit about the Youth Economy Agency, a little bit about what he sees as how can technology help youth economy businesses succeed, and how is some of the work that youth economy is doing in St. Lucia today. So welcome, Mr. Leos, and it's great to have you. I wanted you to give a little introduction about yourself, and then a little bit of an introduction about what is the Youth Economy Agency.
Okay, as indicated, Thomas Leonce, chairperson of the Youth Economy Agency, which was established by an Act of Parliament number 7 of 2022. So that tells you what year it was done on our old day. No? We'll be 3 years old, infants, by August of this year. About me, my background professionally has been mainly in the fast-moving consumer goods industry, food and beverages primarily. But I've since shifted in recent times, about 5-6 years ago, to becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah? Or some persons prefer the phrase self-employed.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful experience, to be honest. It's a great feeling. You have more control over your time. You have more flexibility in terms of the hours you put in. Although sometimes it could extend beyond normal working hours,
Yeah.
but it's still a pleasure when you're working for yourself. Currently engaged in the real estate field, also do a bit of sales and marketing consultancy,
Okay.
a bit of light construction, so a variety of
Very much a true
management.
a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess at one point in time you started off as a young entrepreneur yourself, and now you've moved into the seat of chairman of the Youth Economy Agency. Can you give us a quick overview of the goals and how it supports young entrepreneurs?
I think the foundation of the Youth Economy Agency was articulated by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre.
Yeah.
And when I first heard it, I thought it was something of recent vintage. I thought it was something he had said when he became Prime Minister in 2021. But I subsequently saw a clip. I can't remember if it was on social media technology, going back to 2016, I believe, where he spoke about the youth economy.
Okay.
That gives an indication of how many years ago this thought has been in his head,
Yeah.
to bring this idea and this vision to fruition. So one of the underlying tenets or the foundation of the youth economy is to turn hobbies into entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
and skills into businesses. So what this means is that prior to the formation of the youth economy, you've had maybe a lot of young persons engaged in activities just, well, you call it a side hustle, but a side hustle where they're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah? And you also had persons who had skills. Maybe they could build websites, maybe they were good photographers, but that was not a business pursuit. They were probably providing these services free of charge, or when they had time, or not paying serious attention to it. So it wasn't at the point where it could generate sufficient income for them for it to be sustainable. Yeah? So as a result of that, you've had a lot of pressure on corporate St. Lucia and pressure on government to create jobs for young persons leaving school. I'm sure you heard that every year.
Yeah.
3,000 plus persons graduating from secondary school, and there's no place to work.
Yeah.
Because the thinking then was that you have to go to school, primary, secondary, university, and come back and work. Join the labor force, that is true.
Yeah.
But I think with the advent of the youth economy, it has changed. There's been a mindset change that now, if I can't find the work in a corporate environment, I can create work for myself and perhaps for other persons. Yeah?
Yeah, and I think, you might correct me, you've probably funded a couple thousand young entrepreneurs to date since starting?
Yes, I think we're probably near 1,500 businesses or young persons or individuals, when I call it that, who have been funded since the start of since the commencement of the operations in March 2023. And if I recall, I think the last figure floating in my head is somewhere in excess of $2 million
Okay, so
that have been pumped into businesses that are operated by young persons between the ages of 18 to 35.
Okay, that's immensely incredible. Out of those 1,500 businesses, are there any trends in the industries that you're seeing young persons taking the grants for, taking the loans from YA for?
Yes, we do, and sometimes we joke about it at our evaluation committee meetings. We're seeing a lot of interest in, I don't know what to call it, it's the fashion business. So hairdressing, your barbers, your makeup artists, persons doing, how do you call it, your weaves, your fingernails, that type of business. A lot of ladies are gravitating towards that. And we're also seeing a lot of interest in food and beverage.
Okay.
So persons want to do catering. Or open a restaurant or expand on a facility that they have, whether it be a food truck, a restaurant in a fixed location, a mobile facility that they can move around and sell their stuff. A lot of persons involved in processing juices. Whether it be tamarind juice, golden apple, mango, and I'm sure you've seen a few of them walking in the streets of Castries and plying the trade, you know?
Definitely.
Selling a bunch of juices. So we're seeing a lot of interest in, like I said, the cosmetology and the beauty and the fashion business, your weaves and your hairdressing, your barbers, and the food and beverage that I just spoke about.
Okay, and with the proliferation of companies within cosmetic industry and food and beverage industries, in your opinion, how important do you think technology is in helping these youth economy agencies grow and succeed within today's economy?
Oh, yeah, it's very important because you need technology to, first of all, prepare your plans. Even the plans that you submit to the agency for approval, it has to be prepared using technology, whether it's Microsoft Word or Excel in terms of financials, to communicate to us whether your business is feasible or sustainable. And again, because of the size of the business are typically very small, micro enterprises, you will find a situation where they can't afford to employ somebody who specializes in that field. So they may not be able to employ an accountant or to keep their books. So they have to do it themselves. And we have provided training to these businesses in that area, in bookkeeping and records, to assist them in keeping track of their revenue and their expenses. So what technology does is that it buys you time. So instead of hiring somebody to do this job for me, I can do it on my own if I'm trained in it.
Because that technology gave me the leverage to be able to do a little bit more.
So something that will take maybe 5 hours on paper to put together, with the use of technology, it'll take you minutes or less.
And especially with the advent of AI now, we could...
Well, we're going to go into that a little later on,
We could also leverage that to help us with our business plans, help us with our marketing plans, and being able to ideate a lot faster and being able to... really being able to complete a lot of like the routine and routine tasks a lot faster these days. So I do think it is really helping SMEs and small businesses move through the stage of micro to small business a lot faster.
Well, let me give you an example of, since you mentioned AI, and this friend of mine who requested assistance in developing a label for some condiments and spices that she was producing. I had no experience in that department, so I referred to another friend of mine for assistance, and that was in September of 2024. Needless to say, January came around and I had not gotten anything back from this friend. So it so happened that I'd enrolled in an AI course in February 4th to be exact. And during that course, it exposed me to various tools, AI tools that could have been used for various functions. What is ChatGPT, OpenAI, DeepSeek, Claude. And one of the tools that was introduced was Leonardo. And I think that allows you to develop graphics and labels and so. Could you believe that that same information that's sent to that person in September of 2024, whilst at the session, whilst at the class, I put the same information into Leonardo, and I was able to get 5 versions of a label within seconds that I sent out to this friend of mine who had requested the service. Now, she could not use the youth economy because she was past the age.
Just Vassy.
And yeah.
Have you gotten one label from that friend yet?
No, but that was recently. That was in February. It was at the beginning of February, so I don't imagine that she's printed it yet and refining is taking place. But I just showed you something that previously took 4 months to get off the ground. We could do it in seconds. So you can see how that can save time for anybody, not just for young persons. Yeah.
So I wanted to pick your brain on what are some of like the common challenges you're seeing in small businesses and micro businesses funded by the YE. How do you think about lack of access to capital, mentorship, and networks? How does that impact young businesses?
Well, I think, that is one of the primary setbacks or primary challenges that businesses face in general, and even more so for young persons who have, unless you have a grandfather or granduncle who's bequeathed you by inheritance with a couple $100,000, then it's very difficult at that age to have raised enough money to start a business. So this is where the youth economy comes in, because we have two components to the program that we offer. Well, more than two, but the two primary components would be grant financing and loan financing. In the case of grant financing, the recipients are not required to pay it back, but there has to be accountability for the funds that you received. Whereas in the case of loan financing, very soft loans, I would say, they are required to pay it back in the same manner that you structure a loan from the bank and so forth. But except that the terms are a lot more lenient, about 3% as compared to what the bank would offer,
Yeah, no, that's it.
So that was one of the major challenges, and that was why the youth economy was created in the first place, Some of the challenges, you mentioned mentorship. We do offer that program for persons who have benefited from our grant support, so they can have somebody perhaps in the industry that they're interested in to guide them over a 6-month period. But they don't make their mistakes or repeat the same mistakes over and over again. So it means that they can get to their goals faster. You with me? We also offer training in a variety of disciplines. One of which we've done maybe 2 or 3 times over different time periods is business planning. And a lot of persons just want to jump into business without first asking themselves, does this make sense?
Is there a demand? Is there a market?
Is there a market for this? Will I make money for this? Will this sustain me? Will this enable me to pay the bills? Are you with me? How many persons should I employ? Employ? 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of persons just want to jump in without doing that. So EA has provided a platform where we can provide training to persons in business planning. We've done training in bookkeeping. We've done training in digital marketing. And there's a lot more to come as the years progress.
Okay, and is there any government policies that you also see that might address any challenges in registration and setting up business accounts? Or do you see any regulation changes or changes that you think should be made to help ease that transition for young businesses, moving from an unregistered small solo entrepreneur to maybe a small business that has it's registered, it's pay VAT, it has a small office space?
So one of the challenges, of course, which businesses face in general in St. Lucia is something called ease of doing business, And it doesn't matter whether you're a young entrepreneur or a more mature entrepreneur, I won't say old, a more mature entrepreneur, I think the challenges remain the same. I've certainly experienced these challenges where you're required to walk from one office to the next for very mundane and routine tasks, So of course, one of the encouragements we give to persons who come to us for support is that they register a business, so they can separate the personal finances from the business finances. No commingling of the funds. So the money you earn from what you sell, it's recorded under this business and it's placed in this bank account owned by this business, as opposed to mixing up. So you can make the business pay you, as opposed to mixing your savings with your business funds and you have no idea if you're making money or not. So we encourage them to do that. Another avenue we're exploring is to become an agent of ROSIP. ROSIP is the Registry of Companies and Intellectual Property. Whereby person comes to us, we can, as an agent, register the business for them, and we pay ROSIP. So the money for the registration comes as part of the grant that we gave to the young person or the young entrepreneur. So instead of telling you, go and register your business, you write there, we can do a name search for you based on the name that you provided, and see if that name is available, and we take it from there. So you simply have to go to ROSIP however long afterwards to collect your certificate.
Yeah.
As opposed to you leave the office, you go to ROSIP, you come back, it's not available, yes it is, I have to change the name, somebody has it, so we try to make things as easy as possible for the young persons.
Okay, I really think that would be a great initiative, because even when we started our business some 5 years ago, we had to go through that whole thing, go to ROSIP, register the business, come back, is it finished, we don't know when it's done. But I really think with a program like YEA, when you're coming to do your mentorship, get funding from this agency, be able to also register my business.
Yeah, I mean, you're familiar with the DigiGov platform, eh?
Yes,
I mean, that's the platform we're going to be using, we hope be able to use to accomplish that. And I know there's been a lot of progress.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of progress in this DigiGov,
I think there's an initiative with the land registry. I'm trying to put all these documents online. So you don't have to leave your home to go and do routine things, to register your vehicle, the Ministry of Infrastructure. A lot of routine things that you can do from your home. And then you're just sitting and collect whatever, your card or whatever it is that you need to collect. And go about your life, go about your business.
Yeah. I guess a little bit before we end, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs looking to build scalable businesses? The young entrepreneur that wants to move from just a solo entrepreneur to as big as Massey.
So that's the thing again. I think there's an attitude where persons think that I have to go it alone.
Yeah.
And they say, I think I can't remember the phrase now, but if you go as one, you may go further or something, or if you go as two, you may do it faster. So don't be afraid to partner with other individuals who may possess a skill that you don't have. So for instance, you want to go into the, food and beverage business. You may be very good at doing the braiding of the hair or the nails. Sorry, I said food and beverage. Food and beverage. You may be very good at cooking. Yeah. But you're not very good at keeping records. So you may have somebody who has some accounting experience that would help in keeping the records. So you may want the person to invest in this by buying some shares in your business or partnering in your business. You may have somebody who's very good at marketing and using social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. So don't be afraid to partner with persons who bring different skills together so that your business can go faster, as opposed to you trying to do everything on your own. You want to go and buy the chicken by the wholesaler. You want to cook the food yourself. You want to serve the customers. You want to collect the cash. You want to market the business. Something will suffer.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to partner. And that goes not just for young persons, but all businesses in general. Don't be afraid to partner. And I know you've done it. Yes. And I'm sure you're seeing the success and the rewards of doing that.
Especially on that point of partnering, and you said like bringing in somebody to also invest in a business. Has YA ever thought of any mechanisms like bringing in angel investors to invest in the youth economy agencies? Maybe our older, well-established community within St. Lucia and the Caribbean, that maybe they're looking for a new investment, a new business idea. Are these some of the partners? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not sure that we've gone as far as identifying angel investors, but I know that the agency has put on an initiative called the Youth Investment Forum. I think it was in December of last year. Yeah, where we brought in different keynote speakers in various fields. In the creative industry, I think we had this gentleman called Skinny Fabulous.
Yes.
Vincent. I think at one point we had Teddyson John.
I believe they brought in this guy called Keeghan Patrick as well, so that's him.
You have to market yourself. So, just to give young persons an indication of what's available in the space, that investment space, and expose them, broaden their minds, So whereas we may not have gotten to a point of, bring in investors willing to invest at that point in time, but we certainly had this investment forum where young persons can understand that you do not have to go it alone, So if you have an idea that's very good, pitch it, And I think, I'm not sure if the organization has done training in how to pitch. But certainly, there have been instances where, in order to qualify for funding, based on who the sponsor of the fund is, the Taiwanese embassy, for instance, Taiwanese government, you had to pitch your idea to a panel in order to be successful in receiving the funding. So all of this is part of the growth process, for young persons in business.
Okay, so I want to thank you again for coming onto the show and giving us a little bit of insight into your youth economy agency.
Yeah.
I really want to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And thank you for everybody watching. I want you guys to, if you enjoyed the show, like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you for another Tech Talk Tuesday.